Hello, this video is for the Unit 7 project. In Algebra 2, we are doing the area um, of whatever you're interested in on Google Maps. And we're going to use the trigonometry version of the area formula to do this. So I know there might be other ways, half times base times height and stuff like that to do area, but we're going to force you to use the trigonometry version, which is the half AB sine of C, right? So this just runs through what you're supposed to be doing and what we're expecting on this project. So the first thing you're going to do is go to My Maps Google, okay, and that should pop up, My Maps Google, right, on Google My Maps. Right, you can see there's some projects that I have from the past. I'm going to create a new map up here in the top left. Create, please. Right, and it should just give you a general map. You're going to find a location that's interesting to you. Just anything that you can think of, like a park or some kind of area that you is familiar to you. The reason we're doing this is because we want everybody to have their own area. So I'm going to use Nogawa Koan. I'll do ASIJ, let's say. But you guys have to do something else. You have to do some, like, I could use Nogawa Park if I wanted. I could use anything, right? So find something that you're interested in. Actually, I'll use Nogawa Park. It's a nice little area right there. Okay, so that's going to pop up. And I'm looking for a polygon shape that is not perfect. I do not want a bunch of right angles. If I have a lot of right angles, then you're going to get a bad grade on the project, because then you don't need the half AB sine of C. We need some angles that are not right angles for you to force you into using triangles that don't have right angles in them, okay? So I'm going to use this Nogawa Park here. Looks pretty good to me. Over here on the left, we have the base map. So I am going to change that. I mean, you could leave it like this, that's fine, but you can change it into a satellite map or maybe this type of regular map, right? I'm going to do satellite map so I can see it a little better. And, it gives us more detail, which is nice. And we need to size this to kind of get the shape that I want. It's kind of hard to get this just big enough, but not too big. Right. Okay, that looks pretty good right there. And I'm kind of looking at this shape right in here. And I know it's kind of all wavy and stuff, but I'm going to estimate it using straight lines. So I'm going to kind of change these into triangles, kind of, and make a shape around this. Okay. So what you want to do is draw around it and enclose the shape. So right here, there's a draw a line. So I'm going to click on that, and it says add line or shape. I'll click on that and just start at one of your corners. I guess I'll start here. Actually, let me start here. I'm just going to estimate this a little bit. So I'm going to start there. I clicked once, and you see I've got this line that goes with me. Okay, I'm going to come over here and click on the outside of this. And I got a lot of sides on mine, so I'm going to try and simplify it a little bit. I'm going to go right through all of this over to this corner. I know this is wavy in the middle, and if I wanted, I could click here and click here and click here and put a whole bunch of sides on it if I want. But keep in mind, the more sides you put on it, the more complicated your project is. So I'm going to estimate this, kind of go right through the middle of the wave and go to here. And then I'm going to come down to this corner, and I'm going to estimate this as well. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm going to kind of cut that off about right there, and then go back to where I started and click on the spot that I started. Hopefully you can see that I had to click on the original spot again to get this to enclose and become a polygon shape. It even says polygon. Okay, I'm going to name that polygon up here. I'm just going to click inside of there and then name that. I'll call mine Nogawa. All right. Nogawa Park. Okay. And then save it. Now, when I save that, let me drag this around a little bit. Couple of things. One, you'll see on the left, it's been saved over here on the left. So at any time, I can go back over there. I can click on that, and this little window will pop back up. If you lose it, you can click over here on the left, right? Now, the other thing I'm noticing, now yours might be in square kilometers, but mine is showing up in hectares. Hectares, there's 100 hectares per square kilometer. So mine says 32.3 HA. That stands for hectares. And if you look it up, you'll notice there's 100 hectares per square kilometer. So all you have to do is divide by 100. In other words, move the decimal 2 places. So if you have hectares, maybe yours is already in square kilometers, which is great. That's what you want. But you just need to record this number down on your project, right? On your project paper, you'll see that there's like, okay, I got a pledge, and then you're going to do all this work, right? And you're going to take a screenshot and you're going to put stuff in here, right? And then you're going to put down what Google Maps told you. So in here for me, I'm going to write down what mine told me, which is 0.323 square kilometers. 0.232. Now that would be mine, right? I'm just moving my decimal 2 places to convert it from hectares into square kilometers. But maybe you already have square kilometers, okay? But you need to write that on your project, right? So that needs to go in part in your project in Google Classroom. All right, now we got to label it and measure and label. That's the next step. Okay, so your measurements need to come from this. Now I have the area, and I actually have the perimeter right there, that 2.47 that you see there. That's the perimeter of my outside thing. But I don't really need that. What I need is the lengths of all the sides. So I'm gonna I need to cut this up as well into triangles. So what I'm going to do is pick a spot to start, and I'm going to pick this spot down here. You could really pick any spot, but you're gonna create triangles from that spot. So pick a good spot, something that's going to work well for you. I'm going to pick this spot right here. If I pick this spot for me, it's going to be a little difficult because I'm going to get this little teeny triangle or whatever. And over here it'd be difficult too, but using this spot is going to work out well for me, and I hope you can see that as I do it. So once you pick your spot, you got to go from the exact same spot each time. Okay, so what I did is I clicked up here, right, draw a line, and I said add a line. All right, and I click on that, and then you come down, and you got to try to make sure that's really right on the corner. If I click on that, you see how that turned highlighted? That means I was right on my spot when I did it, which is what I want. And then I'm going to go to this opposite corner over here. And when I click, I'm going to double click so that I just draw the line. Okay, so click twice. And if you click twice, it'll come up and you can name the line if you want. I'm just going to leave it as line 2. I don't really care. And then save it. Boom, I saved it. Now, when you save it, you can see that it shows you how long that is. So mine's 607 meters. All right. Again, if I close that, it's not gone. I can come over here and click on the left and it'll pop back up again, right? And I can close it back off. And then over here, your stuff is saved. There's my Nogawa Park. There's my area. And then here's my line 2. That's saved. Okay, so these diagonals are going to be saved for you. So I'm going to do it again. Now I'm not going to pick a different spot. I'm going to pick the exact same spot. Click. Okay, it turned highlighted, so I know I'm in the right spot. I'm going to go over to this vertex over to the other side here, double click, and then it says line 3 or whatever it says. It doesn't matter. You can label it if you want, but I'm just going to save it. And there's the length of that diagonal. That's there. I'm going to need those to do my area calculations. All right, so write them down. You can always come back to those lines over here. Okay, I need one more because I need to enclose this. And you'll see that I'm just cutting my polygon. Okay, I need another one. Here we go. Come on, give me another one. Click. It won't let me click. Okay, click. You can escape. Like if you're someplace or something, you just hit escape if you want to get out of it. Okay, so click draw a line. And you'll see that as I do this, I'm cutting my shape. Double click. Okay, save it. I got a length. So I have my diagonal lengths. But you see I'm cutting it into these with these diagonal lengths, right? I'm cutting it into 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles on my shape. Now the more sides that you have for your polygon, then the more triangles you're going to get. I had a polygon that had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. So that means I'm going to end up with 4 triangles. It's always 2 less, right? You remember that from geometry. We kind of did this in geometry, but if I have something with 7 sides, then when I cut it, I'm going to end up with 5 triangles. If I have something with 10 sides, I'm going to end up with 8 triangles. So the bigger your polygon is, the more complicated your project's going to be, because you're going to have more triangles you have to work with. Okay, but if you make it too simple, then you won't get your full credit. It needs to be, you need to have like maybe somewhere between 5 and 7, maybe 8 sides to your polygon. I recommend like 6 or 7 sides. You can see here, like I said, I had 7 sides. Or sorry, I have 6 sides, so that gives me 4 triangles. This is a perfect little average, right? There's plenty of work to do, and it's a good project. It's not too simple, but it's not too complicated either. So, 6 sides is good, 7 sides is fine. 8 isn't too bad, but now it's starting to get a little too complicated. If I go down to 5 sides or 4 sides, now it's getting too simple, and you might actually get docked by having a project that's too simple. The other thing you got to watch out for is don't assume these angles are 90 degrees. We do not want you to do this using a 90-degree angle. We want you to use the half AB sinus C for every single one of these triangles. I know this looks like a 90-degree angle, but don't assume it's a 90-degree angle. And this one looks like a 90 degree, and this one's close to a 90 degree, and this one's close to a 90 degree. Do not use 90-degree angles. Do you hear me? You're going to get docked if you use 90-degree angles. You're going to use the half AB sinus C for all your areas. Okay. To do the area of each of these triangles, I need the side lengths of all of them. The diagonals are already there. I have the lengths of all my diagonals, right? I can look those up, and I can look up the length of or I can look up the area of the whole thing, to compare, but I don't have the lengths of the outside. I don't have the length on this side or this side or this side or this side or the outside, right? So I need all these outside lengths. These, when you measure them, are going to, those are going to disappear. So they're not going to be saved on the left like the other ones are. You're going to have to write these down as you go. So I'm not going to draw a line like we have been. I'm going to come over here to the right a little bit, and there's this measure distance tool. So you click on the measure distance tool, you come down to the corner. I'm just going to start over here, I guess, and I'll just show you a couple of these. So click there, and it turned highlighted, so that's nice. You go to the corner, and you just click. You can double click, right? If I double click, it'll show me, hey, that's 160 meters, right? All right, I can escape, or I can click on this again. So measure distance again. When I click on that, then the previous one has disappeared, right? That's gone. So I have to write that down. That was 160. Okay, so I got to write that down. The length of this side is 160. Okay, and then I have to continue. Click on the corner. Oh, I missed it. Right? I can tell I missed it because it didn't turn highlighted. So I'm going to do it again and see if I can get right on the corner of that polygon, and then right on the corner of this, right? And you can see it says 578. I'm going to write that down. Right? Now, if you keep going, it will continue as kind of like a perimeter. So if you wanted, I could take like the next measurement and subtract the previous measurement from it and get the next line length. You could do that. That would actually be fine, right? Click and then continue, and then click and then continue. And I'm noticing that I'm missing the polygon because it's not highlighted, right? So I'm not doing an excellent job. So I really want this, like you can zoom in on this to do this, right? I can zoom in to do a better job. Click, oh, it highlighted for me, and then zoom out. I'm using 2 fingers to do that. And you can kind of scroll around a little bit. Click. Oh, I didn't want to click on that, but it's correct. It's okay. I can see the blue line right there, right? That blue line. Okay, but you see how it's moving around now and the distance is changing? So you don't really want to do that, do you? So after you kind of get to the end, you don't want to move it. So after I click, this is kind of finicky, right? And then click, oh, it's not doing what I want. I want it to highlight for me. Is it going to highlight? It's a little finicky. Okay, maybe you don't get it, but It should be really, really close. And then I click on that, and then I can double click. If you double click at the end, then it'll freeze, right? And then you can get that measurement. So I got 580 over there, right? And you got to do all your outsides, all right? So that's what you're doing. Okay, so you got to measure all the sides on the outside. So, right, let me move this back where it was. So I'm going to have all those outside lengths. I'm going to have all the, sorry, all the diagonal lengths. And I'm also going to have my answer that when I get my answer that I'm going to calculate, I'm going to compare my answer to the answer that Google Maps is giving me. All right, so now that you have all your lengths, the next step is to make a nice diagram that's labeled. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a little screenshot of this, and I can maybe shrink it a little bit. Ooh, that's too much. I don't want that much shrinking. That's too big. Can I go somewhere in between maybe a little? This is being really finicky right now because I'm video recording, so it's not working very well. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be perfect, but kind of get it so you can see it. And then I'm going to do a screenshot of my area. And I don't care if other stuff is included in that or not. That's okay. But I just want to get my area in the screenshot. Okay, so I took a screenshot. And then what you're going to do is go to your document. All right. And you are going to make a diagram that kind of looks like this, right? It's going to be enclosed. You're going to have measurements on the side. And if you, and I also would like you to have the vertices labeled, okay? So this is what you do. So you click in here somewhere, and then you're going to insert a drawing, okay? A brand new drawing, okay? That comes up with a drawing. And then you can just take your saved screenshot and throw it in there. Okay. And then, you can play around with that. You can make it a little bigger if you want, or, you know, whatever you need to do, or maybe maybe I don't need it that big. This is fine. But then what we want to do is you can see there's a text box here. And there's other tools, right? And there's just shape and lines and things, but you don't really need that. It's mostly just going to be the text box. So I'm going to take my text box and I'm going to highlight it, make a little text box there. The trouble is when you do that, it's really hard to see the letters. Like you're going to type in your lengths and you're going to do letters for the corners, right? Oh, this is the wrong drawing. I picked the wrong drawing, I think. I think I have a different one. Maybe. Let's see here. Do I have another one? Sorry. Oh, here's the one I just did. Bonk. Yeah, that's the one I just did, isn't it? Okay, so you can move that around, make this bigger. I was practicing earlier, so I have more than one. Okay, so I need the lengths on the sides and I need my vertices. So text box, make a little text box, type in whatever length you found. Like I don't know what it was, like 360 meters, right? And you can make your text box bigger and stuff. It's really hard to see that. So what I'm going to do is, there's tools here, right? So you can click on the three dots over here. I'm going to make my letters something else. Like maybe you could even make the letters white so you can see it, or make the letters something that's easy to see. And I can also make them bold and I can make them bigger, right? So you can change the font and stuff to get that to pop so we can see what it looks like. Once I have one of them, I should be able, whoops, I can click on this and then I should be able to copy paste it. I didn't like that. Oh, there it is, right? And then once I've copied pasted, I can grab it and move it over. Come on. Oh, I got to grab kind of the edge of it. I can grab the edge of it, move it around, and then I can change the numbers, right? Like maybe this one was 250 or something. I'm just making up the numbers right now, but I can move these around. I can copy paste them, right? And then I can have one on each of my side lengths. Okay, so you're going to do that for all your side lengths. In my case, and the diagonals as well. So in my case, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different measurements on mine, right? Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing for my vertices. So I'm going to put one of those over on my vertices, and I'm going to label it. Maybe I go A, B, C, D, right? And I call this vertex D. And maybe I want that bigger or smaller or whatever, right? Once you click on it, I can change my font. Maybe I want that really big. Yeah. Okay. Right. So that's nice. And again, I can copy paste that. So once I kind of have my font set that I want, you got to get this just right to click on it. I'm looking for the 4 cross arrow, right? Copy paste. There we go. Grab that one, move it over to your other corner, change the letter. This is going to be C. Copy paste. I could just paste these now that I've copied one of them. Change the letter. That's going to be B now, right? If I don't like where it is, I just move it over a little, right? So I'm labeling my vertices. I'm labeling all my lengths. My diagram is not done yet, but because I don't want to waste your time, right? You have to do every single length and every single vertex. Then you can save and close, and it'll show up in your document. And of course, you can make this smaller. It doesn't need to be that big, right? And then you're going to have a nice diagram here. All your lengths are going to be shown. Your vertices are going to be labeled. So now when you start doing your measurements and you start showing your work, you can talk about, oh, length BC, is 250. And then I'm using triangle ABC and triangle ACD and triangle ADE. And you can start talking about the triangles and talking about the lengths in terms of those letters, right? A, B, C, D, and whatever you've labeled it. Okay, so good labels go a long ways. Like I said, mine is actually not done. I just wanted to show you how it's done. So I'm going to delete that because it's not proper yet. Okay, but that needs to go in there, and don't delete yours, obviously. And then you're going to do all your work. And then in the very end, you're going to compare your area to the area that Google Maps gave you. And you're going to just see, how far off you were. Hopefully they match up and they're perfect, but maybe they're not, right? Maybe they're a little off because of calculations and measurement error. But let's see where you're at. All right. And that's your project for the year, your final project. The hard part is getting your measurements and getting that map in there. And then once you have that diagram all set, then it's just a matter of calculating, right? And going to town. Now, make sure when you do your calculations, you are not drawing them by hand. You are actually using the insert equation tool, right? And area equals half times my A times my B, right? Maybe these are probably bigger, right? Times the sine of C. Yeah, sorry. Right? You're going to need to do all that when you do your area. Oh, Waka, how am I going to find how am I going to find this angle? Uh-oh. Well, you just ran into the problem that you have to solve for your project, right? So yes, you need to use that area formula, but before you do that, you're going to have to find the angle. So how are you going to do that? Which method are you going to use to do that, right? So you got to figure that out. But my point is that for all the work you're going to do with equations, you need to use the insert equation tool to show your work. Okay? All right, that's the instructions for the project. Good luck. When you're done, submit it in Google Classroom. And you can ask questions, ask your teacher questions and find out if something's not clear, get help. All right, good luck.